Yes, hello, welcome to session 2 of our ease challenge. 7 ways to bring more ease into your days. And today on day 2, we are going to be focusing on chakra 2. Notice the orange I'm wearing. This is the closest I have towards orange. And yeah, I'm so excited that you're joining us. So I'm going to give everyone just a few minutes to connect, to settle in, tell me that you're here. Hi, I see you joining. And in today's session, it's all going to be about pleasure, about adventure, about creation, but also about guilt. How do we feel safe? We're going to talk about body shaming. Hi, Robin. I love you too. Just the right person to be popping in. Talking about body shaming. Robin Benson is an amazing friend of mine who knows so much about how to help people heal. So today I want to talk about how we can find pleasure and safety while we're on adventures. Because you see, we are humans with basic human needs, and we have a dichotomy going on inside of us, and that is that contrast, that difference that we sometimes experience, hi Loredana, between safety and adventure. And it's interesting that all those topics are the topics of the second chakra. So this energy center that spans round our hips, around our sexual organs. And you see, we notice if chakra 2 is blocked, we might feel exhausted. We might feel frustrated in a sense that we feel we're not doing anything meaningful. We might feel frustrated because our creative flow has gone. We're no longer feeling inspired. Basically, we're no longer turned on, right? And I might say a lot of things in this session that might trigger you. And that's great, because you see, every time I say something that triggers you, it's a beautiful opportunity for you to notice what's going on inside of you, okay? So as we're all gathering right now, I would love us to ground down. We always want to start our sessions in a really comfortable seat, a position where you notice how the base of your spine, how the soles of your feet, the coccyx of your spine, they're kind of like a triangle. Just notice that. And notice how when you set the intention to connect to this present moment, you can almost imagine that you have these roots growing out down into the ground. Hi Mary, you're joining just in time. We're grounding down. And then you can start focusing on your breath and take maybe the first real conscious breath today. Take a deep breath in. Fill your belly. And exhale with a sigh. Let it all out. Let's do that again. Take a deep breath in. Hold your breath. Exhale with a sigh. It's a good thing to do. Loosens the second chakra. Okay, third time. Take a deep breath in. Hold your breath. And now exhale through your nose. Very well. Now that we're grounded down, we're present, we're on time, I think, right? Yes, it is 6 o'clock. I love how punctual you are. Thank you for that. Now that we've grounded down, it's time for us to set our intention, right? So in yesterday's session, I told you all about why we do this intention setting in this certain way. So I'm not going to explain it again. You can watch the replay. We'll dive right into it. Okay, so the main intention that we have for today is obviously to clear any sabotage we may have going on in the area of our second chakra that is especially connected to the concept of pleasure, the concept of pleasure being safe, the concept of being able to have adventures, to go out and explore, and at the same time feel safe in our core, right? That was even a poem. So we want to be able to find our center, to be able to channel all those energies, and I'm going to talk about those later, those different energies we have in our body. We want to be able to channel them to our highest good so that we stay in that powerful state of balance and that powerful state of being connected to our source, to our hearts, right? So that's the intention that we have today, and now we're going to pack it all up in our crystalline command and say this intention together, because as a vortex of this group, it's way more powerful. Okay, so are you ready? Good. Focus on your breath. Close your eyes. Make sure your spine is straight, your neck is straight. Good job. Your shoulders are relaxed. Okay. Now roll your eyes up as if you're looking through the crown of your head. Keep them rolled up there, and then say, even if I don't know how to create ease by clearing all sabotage and conflict in my second chakra, to be able to manifest more pleasure with grace, ease and joy. Even if I don't know how to do that, all I do know is that it is so now. Take a breath, keep your eyes rolled up, and then say, I delete, delete, delete anything that could stop me. And I download, download, download everything I need to do so now with grace, ease and joy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So it is, so it shall be, or something even better. Take one more breath. Put a smile on that beautiful face of yours. Good. Come back in the here and now. So let me see. I wrote some very smart notes today to make sure that I've really touched on everything that I can in this time that we have together. So when we become congruent with the idea that it is safe to create pleasure with grace, ease and joy, say it to yourself, it's safe for me to create pleasure with grace, ease and joy. And just notice what happens inside of you. The moment I say it, I notice in myself now, you might be totally different, I notice a sort of resistance. I notice even a little tad of fear. It's like, yeah, right, you made that happen. And you know why that is? It's because we, as we talked about yesterday, we often have so many experiences literally stored in our bodies, in our energetic fields, in our DNA, in our brains, right? In our unconscious mind. We have some experiences maybe already in this life, in childhood, where we experienced that pleasure was something that had a negative effect, either on us or on others. And I think, again, if we talk about pleasure, we're talking second chakra and we're talking sexual organs, we're talking sexual energy. And I have noticed, you know, working for decades now with so many people from all over the world, from all walks of religion and whatever, nearly everyone has had blocks on sexuality being sacred, being safe. You know, so many of us have experienced trauma in many different ways. And I would make a guess that, especially if you're a woman, your chance of having experienced a traumatic moment or event in your life that was connected to sexuality, to your second chakra, is damn high. Because you see that kind of abuse or these negative experiences that we can have, they can start with tiny little things. You see, the fear, that's mainly what it is, the fear and the guilt and the anger and the grief and all that, all those emotions that are stored in the second chakra when it's linked to sexuality, usually come from a fear that happened when we were humiliated, maybe, where we experienced abuse, we experienced rejection, we experienced abandonment, we might have experienced physical pain, and you see the body doesn't forget that, nor does your unconscious mind. So even if we often consciously think we're over things, oh, that's so long ago, that doesn't bother anymore, or oh no, that didn't have any effect on me, sometimes there's a tiny little bit left, because what it did in that moment was that you created a belief. You made a choice in that moment to create a certain pattern of behavior, because in that moment, that behavior, that belief, that choice was usually life-saving, or it was at least ego-saving, or it was the best you could do. So in that moment, that choice might have been the best that you could have and do, but now that you're grown up, now that you're this wise, compassionate, amazing person, that same choice, that same belief might be harming you. It might be limiting you from really expressing yourself with all that you are. Because you see, our sexual energy, all the topics of the second chakra, they're important, right? If we try and cancel those out, if we suppress them, if we don't find safe ways to express them, then that's going to get bottled up, right? And those kind of suppressed sexual energies can get really destructive. They can get destructive in a way that some of us might then, I don't know, try and project it on the outside and then, start hurting other people with our own destructive behavior, or we'll turn it inwards. And usually it's a bit of both, right? So we'll start actually harming our own well-being because we're not willing to let go of this thing that happened long ago. And would you agree that everything that was in the past had a little blessing or a huge blessing in it? Wouldn't you agree that even the most, or usually, especially the really dramatic experiences made you who you are today? They made you stronger, they gave you insight, they made you wiser. And that can often be really hard to accept, this idea of, I chose this, I created this. Because especially when it goes into sexual abuse and physical abuse, then we can often feel like a victim. And we can say, well, I didn't ask for that to happen. But the funny thing is, on some level, our soul did. Because there was something that we wanted to learn in that moment. And, I've worked with many women and boys who experienced sexual abuse, who experienced emotional abuse. And I can tell you, every single one of those amazing souls that I worked with would say, yes, you're right, Jai. I became stronger, I became more compassionate, I became clearer on my own values because of that awful thing that happened. And the moment you're able to reframe what happened to you and see that blessing, healing can happen. And we're going to dive further into that topic of forgiveness, especially of others, in lesson 4. Because right now, in lesson 2, it's more about self-forgiveness. Because the interesting thing is that when we have in any form some kind of sexual trauma, some trauma that's related to the second chakra, the two emotions that are usually strongest and have the biggest impact on our well-being are, do you want to make a guess? What are the two emotions that will really havoc your joy in life? That could come from sexual abuse, from things like that, do you know? I'll tell you. It's guilt and shame. If you look at the vibrational chart of all the emotions that we can feel, going from grief and shame, which is right on the bottom of the energy spectrum, up to joy and love and compassion, all those things, we see that, shame is a lower frequency than anger. Shame is a lower frequency than grief and depression. So shaming someone or shaming yourself is going to have a massive impact on your joy. So please decide now that you are going to let go, release, cancel this program of shaming. Stop shaming yourself and stop shaming others. We don't need shame, okay? Shame means I am bad. Me, the whole thing, I'm bad. That's shame. Guilt is I did a bad thing. They're two very different things. Guilt is I did a bad thing. And shame is I am a bad person. And when we look at those two emotions, the one thing, if we have guilt, what can we do about it? Well, if you feel guilty about something that you did in the past or something that you're doing now, then change it. Go out and apologize, fix it, make amendments. There's always something you can do. Even if the person that you feel guilty towards maybe isn't alive anymore, you can donate to a charity. You can show your compassion and love and your penance somewhere else. That's totally possible. But stop carrying that guilt with you. Because you see, the thing about guilt is when we feel it about ourselves, if we feel that we're guilty, then usually we will also project it on others. And suddenly we will blame others, we'll make others responsible for what's happening in our lives. And that's never helpful, okay? So if you feel guilty, make a pact with yourself today to forgive yourself, right? And to make amendments, to do something to fix it. And then we're going to let it go. Today is your last day of indulging in this pattern of guilt. You in? Give me your hands up. Good. Next, shame. You're a good person. You are made out of love. Source, love, God, whatever you want to call it, created you with a purpose. universe. You matter. And that divine spark in you, that love in you, is the same as it is in me, is the same as everybody else on this call now. So stop shaming yourself, let go of that pattern, because it's really not only annoying to yourself, it's also annoying to others. Because, I mean, who likes hanging out with a victim? Nobody, right? So start being a victim, and I know this might be really tough medicine right now if you've just gone through trauma, and I would like to tell you, if you've gone through trauma, you've got something, then get help. Get help so that you don't have to deal with it alone. That's really important. Okay, so we've talked about what we don't want to do, okay? We don't want to go around with guilt and shame carried around and blocking our second chakra, because if we do, then we will notice those blocks where? In our relationships, in our sex life, again, in money and abundance, similar to the first chakra, but this time more affecting your work, your creativity, your ability to, receive inspiration, then your ability to create, right? Second chakra is where we basically create miracles. Think about it. If man and woman get together and have the intention to create a baby, they can create life together. So, it's a really sacred and beautiful energy center that I feel when we clean it today, when we remove that sabotage, I can guarantee you're going to notice a massive change in your life. And I look forward to hearing about that from you. Hi, Ida. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to move towards karmic-free pleasure. That's what I call it. We want to move away from the shame and the fear, and we want to move towards pleasure that is karmic-free. What do I mean with karmic-free pleasure? Well, what I mean with karmic-free pleasure is that we have pleasure that is not destroying or harming anybody else. So I think it's really important to know how you find pleasure, because everybody's different, right? Things that give me pleasure might be awful for you, right? So an example, I love hot baths. That's a dream for me. Roy prefers showers. Both is good. But if I want to find my pleasure, it's better I go have a bath and he goes has a shower, and sometimes we can change, whatever, right? So get my gist. You want to find pleasure that is simple, that is not harming the environment or another person. And what's the plus side of that? The plus side of that is that you are responsible for yourself. You're able to help yourself. You're able to indulge in self-love. Yes, I'm also suggesting self-pleasure. There's nothing bad about that. You will not go blind, I promise. And it actually has proven to be an amazing therapy, for instance, for people suffering from depression. So it's important to know all the buttons on your body. It's important to know what your body needs, because you see, sexual energy is very connected to our bodies. And our body is an animal, right? And that sexual energy is a very different energy than a spiritual energy, a mental energy, an emotional energy, a physical energy. And we have all those energies within us. And once we learn how to harness that energy, and that's something that I, for instance, used to teach in my goddess workshops, right? Learning how to harness that sexual energy within our own bodies. Once we're able to do that, we can use it for healing, for ourselves and for others. And that way we are moving towards more conscious lovemaking, right? Which I think is way more interesting than the wham bam, thank you ma'am, personally, but we're all different. So when we find safe outlets for all these energies and are able to harness them, we can really move towards that karmic free pleasure. So bear with me. What we want to do in a moment is we want to clear any trauma, drama, negative imprint in our DNA that is related to our second chakra and our ability to live life with ease by creating more karmic-free pleasure. Because when we do that, we get more into that flow of life, and that's what this challenge is all about. So let's tap into the trauma that could be stored. And as I tell these stories and as I mention these things, listen to what happens inside of your body and trust your body. If you feel tension somewhere, or you feel appalled, or you feel excited, notice that and take your pen and paper and write it down. The reason why I want you to write it down is because it brings 5D into 3D. You're facing it. And what we are doing here is we want to, in this very short time that we have together, right? We want to power packed in this hour everything that we have to be able to be done with a certain topic, because we are moving into ease. So the trauma that could be stored in the second chakra is abuse of any form, especially if it's sexual abuse, especially if it's something related to body shaming, to your role as a man or a woman, the rejection that you experienced, especially if it was physical rejection or sexual rejection, humiliation, shaming, guilt tripping, these codependent relationships. I need you to be free, complete, right? Well, that's what we want to move away from. We want to have partners, relationships as the cherry on the cake, but not as the necessity to be able to survive. We want to find that center in ourselves so that we know how to handle ourselves. And once we know how to handle ourselves, we can give other people the instruction manual and say, listen, this is what I like. This is what I dislike. How about you? And we can start having really fun conversations, right? So tune into your second chakra. Maybe even put your hand on your lower belly. Take a few breaths. Maybe close your eyes just for a few seconds and tune into your hips, your sexual organs, your buttocks. Even move up to your kidneys. Notice is there anything there. Second and third chakra, are they connected? And then as you simply breathe into that area, ask your highest self to show you the biggest trauma, the most limiting belief, that memory that is most holding you back, and simply continue breathing, thanking the highest self for doing this for you. And then get your moment, trust it, and write it down. I'm going to write my moment down. I was, I think, between 4 and 5 years old, and we were living in Austria, actually, in up on a mountain in Fockenberg, and I was playing with the neighbor's boy, and yeah, I was wearing a bikini, I remember, and he said something that felt I felt really rejected, and I can't remember what it was, but it was something to do with my body, and that's what I'm just remembering. So I'm going to write down 4 to 5 years, I'm going to write down Fockenberg, so write down kind of just the first words or colours or memories or beliefs or feelings that come up as we're talking about this. Okay, so I'm going to write down 4 to 5 years, Fockenberg, and I'm going to write down body shame for some reason. Okay, that's what I am going to work on. You choose what you're going to work on. If nothing came up for you, that's fine too. Maybe there's something in your body that you consciously know. Maybe there's a part of your body you don't like. Or maybe when you think about lovemaking or self-pleasuring, ooh, what comes up there? Does an emotion come up? Does a tightness, a tension, a tingling, something in your body happen? Just notice and write it down. And then tell me if you've written it down. Good, I'm getting a heart. So if you send me hearts, I know you've written it down and we're ready to move on. We're in that first step that we also took yesterday. The first step of any transformation is awareness. So now that you've become aware of it, your volume is low, same thing as yesterday. I'm on max volume and we actually tested it and the audio was really good. So I'm sorry, maybe you can turn up your loudspeaker or you could put a microphone in. That might be helpful. Okay, so we've now talked about the awareness. You might have noticed some beliefs, some memories, some sensations, some words that came up. So as you do that, write them down and notice how strong they are, okay? Notice how big is this package? Is it this big or is it this small? How big is this thing that you're working on? From a scale from 0 to 10, 0 means nothing happening, and 10 means it's massive. Write down the number. I'm on an 8. That's interesting because I don't feel the emotions, but I feel kind of a tightness. I'm on an 8. Okay, so what we want to do is, my volume is really high. Thank you, Loredana. Good. So what you want to do now is, now that you've defined the size of this thing that you're working on, our intention obviously is to clear it, to get it down to a 0. Now, many of you will do this in this session. Maybe some of you, there's bigger trauma, there's more stuff going on. Don't worry. you will get it down, and you can continue getting it down with the same technique that I'm going to show you in a moment. And you can do that any day, every day. I would actually suggest that you do this tapping that I'm going to show you every single day. Yes, it takes just a few minutes, and you will notice how it helps your body and your mind de-stress, so that you can tap into healing again, so that you can tap into that feeling of wholeness, okay? So our intention is clear. We've noted the problem, right? And now we're going to transform the problem. So the problem is maybe the shame, guilt. We'll give this thing, we're going to say second chakra, okay? Because that's the chakra we're working on, and that's enough definition for the unconscious mind to know what are we working on, okay? So second chakra is the word we're going to say, and if you speak a different language, then you can also follow along in your language and say the words in your language, okay? So you can also just listen and tap. You're going to be good. We're all together in this. Okay, so the 5 elements tapping that I'm going to show you now, I'm not going to explain it into detail because that would then shorten our meditation time, and I really want to take you on an important journey today. But I'll say this, you'll find blogs about this, and maybe my team can copy a link in the comments where you can find more out about the 5 elements tapping. It's also something that I teach in the Joyful Kids. So the 5 elements come from traditional Chinese medicine, so 1,000-year-old wisdom, and they have the 5 elements. So we have water, we have earth, we have fire, we have metal, and we have wood, okay? So these 5 elements need to be in harmony. That's called the cycle of life, right? The regenerative cycle. When they are in harmony, when energy flows between all these elements, then we feel well. If one of these elements is not in balance, then the energy system in our body, the organs in our body that are all linked to this energy system will start struggling. They'll feel stress. And if this continues for a longer time, then we might get sick, we might get some disease. So this is a really helpful tool to not only manage your emotions, but also to help your body heal. And oh my goodness, I have so many experiences just with this tapping, from teaching it to others, to working with so many people with this tapping, that I can say it creates miracles. The only thing it takes is your intention and your practice. So keep doing this. I suggest you do it 3 times a day for maximum results. And if you have some acute chronic thing going on, the more often, the better. Okay, second chakra, we're clearing the trauma. We're releasing the drama. We're saying the past is in the past. And now I am focusing on my future, that desired outcome that I have of a life in grace, ease, and joy. Okay, good. So now take a deep breath in and out. And say, second chakra, and start doing the switch. So you simply take a fist and you punch it into the open hand of the into the open palm of the other hand, and then you go left, right, and then you speed it up. See how fast you can go. How quickly can you synchronize your left and your right brain hemisphere? You're burning some extra calories. Breathe, and now say second chakra. I love and accept myself with all and any trauma, any limiting beliefs, any suppressed emotions, any guilt and shame. I love and accept myself with all this stuff going on. And I love and accept myself when I now choose to release all sabotage, to release all that could hold me back, and step into my power of courage and ease and pleasure and a balanced second chakra. One more breath. Feel the tingle in your hands. Good job. Okay, now we're going to go underneath our left arm. Okay, so it's going to be switched. So I said left arm. Okay, left arm. Underneath your left arm, kind of where your bra line would run if you were a girl and wearing a bra. Here we have the end point of the spleen meridian. Now, the spleen meridian can get really upset when we doubt ourselves, when our self-worth is kind of down there. So here's where we're tapping into our self-confidence. So continue tapping here and then say second chakra. I love and accept myself with all my lack of self-confidence, with all my lack of self-worth, at my deepest level and from the very first time that I felt this way. And I choose now to release all lack of self-worth and step into my power of confidence and self-worth. I love myself and I am worthy of a life with grace, ease and joy. I am worthy of a life with maximum karmic-free pleasure. I love pleasure and pleasure loves me. Take one more breath. Good job. We're moving on. Thumbs. Start flicking your thumbs like this. So you're kind of bump, 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 doing this. Right there, we have the endpoints of our lung meridian. And our lung meridian gets stressed if we feel grief. And we all have some kind of sadness usually that we hold on to. So let's be done with that, shall we? And now we say second chakra. I love and accept myself with all and any grief I may be holding, with all self-sabotage, with all limiting beliefs. I love and accept myself at my deepest level and from the very first time that I felt this way. And I choose now to release all this grief, all this limitation, all the sabotage, and step into my power of joy. I deserve a life filled with pleasure, karmic-free pleasure, love and joy and abundance and health and prosperity and peace and compassion and forgiveness and all the good stuff. Yes, 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 yes. Say, I am joy. Yeah, you've all got joy in you. I am joy. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. One more breath. Why am I singing? Why am I doing these funny things? Well, I am tricking my conscious mind. I'm getting it right into my unconscious mind. And you know, the conscious mind can only do one thing at a time. That's right. Okay, now we're going to move underneath our collarbones. And you know this point already from yesterday, right? This is your courage point. So you can always tap this if you feel fear. Now let's reconnect back. Chakra 2, second chakra. Whew, I love and accept myself with all and any fears I may be holding. Fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, fear of humiliation. All these fears, I love and accept myself. And I choose now to release these fears and to step into my power of courage. I love embracing pleasure courageously. I love creating karmic-free pleasure and I love creating my easeful life. Well done. Okay, now we're going to move on to our right side. What's here? Who knows? Our liver, that's right, one of our biggest detox organs. So give your liver a little tap, a little massage and say, hi liver. And now we're going to say chakra 2, second chakra. I love and accept myself with all and any anger I may be holding at my deepest level and from the very first time that I felt angry. And I choose now to release this anger and to step into my power of peace. I forgive myself and I choose peace. I am at peace with myself, with my body, and everything around me. Very well. Now, final step, we're going to cut the links. That means we're going to cut those karmic cords, those energetic links between ourselves and whatever happened in the past. Whatever happened, we're done with it, okay? And now you can imagine cutting these cords, you can imagine burning them, but just start doing this wonky movement, which is connecting our heart chakra with our crown chakra. Okay, so wave the air. And now say, second chakra. I command all forces within me to balance this chakra, to clear it of any limitation or sabotage, and to integrate my divine blueprint of love, compassion, health, happiness, prosperity, peace, and my divine blueprint of health now. I deserve to live life with ease, with karmic free pleasure and great joy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now place your hands on your heart. And now imagine drifting and floating on this beautiful fluffy cloud to your happy place. Maybe your happy place is a magical garden. Maybe it's on the top of a mountain somewhere. Maybe it's a rainbow pyramid. Or maybe it's a castle in the clouds. Just notice where your happy place is. You can close your eyes now. And then notice how, as you're drifting towards that happy place, your entire body is relaxing. Everything in you is already starting to tune in to that you, that quantum self that is relaxed, at ease, and completely aligned with the concept of having karmic free pleasure. And as you drift and float, notice how all cells in your body are receiving this divine white light. It's beautiful. And it's lighting up every single cell in your body, helping your body relax and go deeper and deeper into that beautiful set of mind, the theta mind. That state of mind where it's easy for you to imagine being in that beautiful place. Noticing the sounds around you, those calming, soothing sounds. Noticing how your entire body is relaxing to that perfect state where you are ready to receive healing and love. Release anything that no longer serves you. And tune into that beautiful frequency of gratitude. Imagine feeling so grateful to your body that you could bless every single cell in your body. Imagine blessing your body with so much light that even the space between your cells starts lighting up. Knowing that every conscious breath that you take is an opportunity for you to release toxic energies. Anything you picked up this life, past life, ancestral, imagine breathing it out. And then every time you breathe in, you're bringing in this divine white light, allowing it to flush your body with love and healing. And then notice how there's so much light in your body that you have surplus light. You could imagine sending it down into the core of the earth, thanking Mother Earth for all that she gives us. The water that we drink, the food that we eat, our bodies, the homes that we have, everything that is so physical. Notice how the earth gives us that air that we breathe. And notice that that same air is now circling in your body. Pure potential, fresh oxygen, the enemy of cancer. Bring your breath to that place in your body where you first notice the tension. And imagine this bright white light dissolving the pain, dissolving the trauma, transforming it into healing, nourishing energy, giving you that resource or those resources that you need most. So notice now how your highest self is starting to approach you. As I count from 1 to 3, you will notice your highest self's energy around you, next to you. 1, relax now. Release all expectations, all need for control, and simply notice your breath. And know that we are all one in this group right now, supporting each other, holding that sacred circle of healing, of light, holding that candle of light for each other. So there's nothing to fear too. Tap into that unshakable faith of your spirit, of the core of who you are, that spark of divine light. And notice that feeling of safety and comfort in you. Very well. And 3, notice how your highest self has started approaching you. Notice the shift in the energy around you. Maybe you're sitting up a little straighter. Maybe you're breathing a little deeper. Maybe your mind is a little calmer right now. Start noticing the space between your thoughts as your highest self is now getting closer and closer to you until you are at a comfortable distance. Imagine now looking into the most beautiful eyes of this planet. Notice the warmth, that love coming out of these divine eyes, your spirit essence. And notice how familiar this energy feels, how loving it is. Allow yourself to receive so much love, unconditional love. And know that right now there's nothing you need to do. Just stay focused on your breath. Notice the relaxation in your body and allow my voice to guide you, to be that connection between you and your highest self, so that the more often you practice, the better you will be connected to your highest intelligence. And then any time you choose to receive and connect with that energy of your highest self, you shall be able to do so effortlessly. So relax now. And notice how your highest self is sending you a particular healing colour right into your second chakra. The energy, the area around your hips, your sexual organs. Notice this colour. And imagine this colour now flowing into that portal, that energy centre inside of your body. Recalibrating, clearing, removing any sabotage, pain, limitation, and bringing in that karmic-free pleasure, that sense of adventure, feeling safe, knowing that your creative power, that creativity that you have in you, that inspiration is you. Feel that inspiration. And imagine seeing that energy spread out into your auric field, that energy around your body. Noticing the cascading light of rainbows maybe now, as all those energies inside of your body are starting to shift and morph into one harmonious one. Notice how your highest self is now ready to bring a message to you, to show you what you need to know, to bring you that word, that symbol, that sound, that insight that is most helpful for you, so that you may create a life filled with grace, ease, and joy. At the count of 3, you shall receive this message in the way that is most appropriate to you. 1, take a deep breath in, and 2, relax, release, and 3, receive this message now. Allow it to come to you. Thank your highest self for this message, whatever came, even if it was nothing. Know that that transmission of energy, that frequency, that healing, that resource that you needed is yours now. So imagine breathing it into your DNA, right down into that twisted ladder, lighting up your DNA with that divine light, that insight, that healing that you need right now. And continue focusing on your breath, bringing your breath deep inside of your body, deepening the connection between you and your highest self. Have a conversation with your highest self. Ask it any questions. You could also ask the highest self to give you a warm heart hug, an embrace, and a healing embrace, that touch that you need right now. Imagine feeling that in the exact right spots on your body that feel best for you. You are now receiving that loving energy of your highest self. Just imagine that. Allow every inhale to be a receiving of that energy. And every exhale, an exhale of grace and gratitude. Deepening the connection between the two of you, linking your hearts. May you now receive all the resources, all the talents, all the beliefs, all the emotions, all the insights that you need to become the best version of yourself, that compassionate, loving, wise, peaceful, generous you, forgiving, knowing exactly when to do what, when to rest, when to go, when to release, when to go after something. Imagine downloading this now all into your DNA, into all parts of your body. And thank your highest self for all the love and the healing that you received. And then it's time to say goodbye to your highest self. To allow your highest self to leave, knowing that you can always come back and reconnect. And notice how you're coming back into your happy place, giving yourself a few more precious minutes to integrate, to rejuvenate, to regenerate, to heal, to do what is best for you. So in a moment, I'm going to be turning on the Tesla, the biocharger behind me. And your only job is to continue relaxing, to receive these healing vibrations. The program is around 8 minutes, and then we will finish up with some tips, some strategies, and a little foresight to our next session. So relax. I'm going to now start turning it on. Are you ready? Here we go. Relax, focus on your breath. While you do that, I'm going to get a charger so we have enough battery. Focus on your breath. Relax. Receive all that love and allow these frequencies to do whatever you need them to do. A suitable mantra for today to repeat inside of yourself would be, I am love, I am eternal, and I am infinite. Inhale, I am. Exhale, love. Inhale, I am. Exhale, eternal. Inhale, I am. Exhale, infinite. Now in your own rhythm, here and now. Bringing with you all that you need, leaving behind you everything you no longer need. Finding that deep breath to bring you back into your body, back into the here and now. Start moving your shoulders, maybe stretch out, twist, give yourself a little hug, say yay, all still here? Yes, good job, good job, good job. Cool, did you enjoy that? Yeah, a few thumbs up? Yes, you did. Good, 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 good. I'm so curious what it feels like at a distance, right? So you do share. So we have just completed the third step. So we had the awareness, and we have the transformation, so the clearing of the sabotage, and now we've just had the integration. So we just brought it all in here together, and you can of course do this anytime again, right? Just watch it again. So now I want to give you my tips, my kind of, what can I do every day to help my second chakra? How can I make this easy for myself? So I've thought of a few things, and my first message is, if you didn't get it, you're so welcome, Dominique. My first message is self-love, right? Really important. Find ways to create more pleasure in your days. So this can be simple things. For me, drinking out of a beautiful glass gives me more pleasure than drinking out of any kind of, plastic cup. That doesn't give me pleasure. So this sounds nice, and I like that. So that's a simple thing, right? By the way, a good idea to now drink some water, because you've just really done a lot, more than you know. So you want to keep your body flushed. So drink water and, a beautiful glass. Then another thing, I don't know, if you're someone who wears a bathrobe, do you have an old stained, hard cotton thing, or do you have a silk bathrobe? I can tell you it was a life changer when I bought myself a silk bathrobe, because you see, the feeling in the morning, and I get up real early, to slip into something silky that makes me feel good gives me pleasure. So I do that. Music can be huge pleasure, right? Make sure you're playing music at the volume and the kind of music that gives you pleasure. Dancing, singing, moving your body. Our bodies are animals, they need movement, really. So the more you move your body in pleasurable ways, that means don't, force yourself to do exercise that you hate. Why would you do that? Choose something that's fun, choose something that's playful, and dancing or yoga and all these things are real fun, so give that a go. Then goddess baths. I'm a big fan of goddess baths. So goddess baths are things that I take when I want to do something for myself, when I need to let go of something, when I want to just feel good, when I'm feeling cold, or I'm feeling tired, or whatever, I'm feeling ugly. Do you have those days too where you just feel ugly and fat and old and bleh, right? We all have those days. So when I have a day like that, I take a goddess bath, and that can be at 10 a.m. in the morning. I don't care. If I can do it, I'll do it. And a goddess bath consists of a carton of organic milk. The reason why I say organic milk is because that milk is just a little happier, because the cows were happier. But you can use other milk too, of course. So a carton of milk, a little jar of honey, and rose petals. So you can use dried rose petals, or you could go out and buy yourself a bunch of flowers. That's another way to create pleasure. And from that bunch of flowers, you could take one rose and you could sprinkle the rose petals into this warm bath. And if you like bath salts, you could put some bath salts in, like the Epsom salts, or even just sea salt, right? That's really good for the skin as well. And then you light some candles, you put in some pretty music, or maybe you like silence. And then you just soak in this warm water, and you imagine releasing everything that you no longer need, and feel how that warm water embraces the body. Oh, it's delicious if you like baths. Another thing, what about your underwear? Some people really, and I used to be one like that too, especially when I was a young mom, and I had all these, nursing bras and whatever. My underwear was awful. It was like the underwear of an old woman. It was washed out. I don't know. So then I decided, no. A goddess needs neat underwear. So, and I think the same goes for man gods. So, looking nice underneath is important. It makes you feel good. What else could you do? Oh, oils. Oils for the second chakra. I chose for today clove bud and wild orange. That's really yummy. So I'm going to take a little sniff of this for you too now. Oh, so good. So you could put some warming oils. The second chakra oils are also cardamom, sandalwood, patchouli, anything that's warming and sensual. So I've got wild orange, clove bud, cardamom, sandalwood, patchouli. So those are my suggestions. And you could diffuse those. You could put them, in some coconut oil and then roll them on your body. You could oil your body with it. What I like doing after showers, so I always dry brush my skin. So I get a kind of bristly brush, and I even now have one that has sort of metal, it's copper in it, right? So it's kind of bristly. It sounds awful, but it's not. It's kind of soft, but kind of bristly. And I take this dry brush before I have a shower, okay? And then I brush my entire body, right? So I'm stark naked in the bathroom, yes. And then I brush the body from the bottom up. So you want to go from the bottom towards the heart. And I brush my skin, and it's amazing. It really energizes your meridians. It gets rid of dry skin, of old skin. It's really good to get your skin healthy and the immune system of your skin up, right? Some people have super, super, super sensitive skin, and so they might need to go a bit slower here. But I do this dry brushing every time before I take a shower. And then after I've brushed my skin, right, then I'll hop in the shower, and then you get this tingly feeling, which is really nice. And after the hot shower, then I'll put some oil on. So coming back to the oils, you could make your own little concoction. And then after that warm shower, you just dash the warm oil on, right? Or the oil on, which will be soaked right into your skin. And then you take a towel and you just take off the excess oil. I swear by this method. Roy actually taught me the oiling method. He loves oils. And I used to have really dry skin, especially on my body. And that's a part of the past now. So nice tip. And if you're asking which oil I like to use on my body, I like sesame oil and I like coconut oil. I'm not a big fan of almond oil, but that works for some people too. Okay, I've talked, then bath salts. Bath salts for the second chakra, you might want to work with roses, and you might want to work with arnica. What I have in my bathroom, I love bath salts. I have all these different ones. And I've noticed that if I just put in orange bath salts, the color of the second chakra, that already does something. So, working with color, finding simple ways of integrating orange, eating orange food is all supporting your second chakra and your ability to be that channel of pleasure. And let's face it, we're humans, and if you ask humans what's the coolest thing about being human as opposed to being an alien, they will tell you two things. It's sex and food. So, make it nice for yourself. Okay, I've talked about the oils. I've talked about loving yourself, simple ways to create more pleasure, buy yourself flowers. Oh, get massages if you can. If not, hire your friends, do baras and trades. You can wear your masks if you feel better. But, getting a good back rub, so helpful. Then what I want to tell you are my favorite meditations and programs that will also help you along this road so you can do even deeper work, so you can go even further. Because obviously, in 1 hour, there's only so much that I can share, but there's so much that you can do now. So I promise that in every session, I'm going to share some tips and tricks also in form of meditations and programs that we have. So the first one that I'd like to encourage you to look at is the quantum intuition training. Now, I have a free webinar on that for the freebie guys, but there's also a training which consists of 5 lessons. And in those lessons, you have the 5 steps to strengthen your intuition. Now, your intuition is your highest guidance, is your highest intelligence. So you want to be connected to that. And interestingly enough, in those 5 steps that it takes to be connected to your intuition, guess what? Owning your desires is a huge step. And the second one, another one, it's not the second one, but another one is forgiving and releasing joyfully. So if that's something that you need a little more work with, that you would like to tap into, then check out this training. You could do it anytime from home. It's super fun, and there are a lot of practical tools in there. So I think it's really going to help you in many different ways. Second one I want to give you are the Omega Healing Audios. Now, the Omega Healing Audios are part of a fantastic program that Roy created many, many years ago, and that we've refined and taught for many years together as well, and that is the Omega Healing Audios. So the audios consist of 12 different audios that are actually a year's program. So in that year, you would listen to one audio each month, and you just sleep with it. So by sleeping with these Omega healing audios, you are reprogramming your unconscious mind and your body's consciousness to be connected and tuned in and aligned and congruent with self-healing. So what it does is it activates your self-healing powers. Now, if Roy were here, which he sadly is not, but he's coming soon, he would tell you all the different experiences he's had just from giving those audios to people. Sometimes, you know, we don't have the chance to be able to help someone in depth. Sometimes it's at an airport, oh my God, I've got cancer, what can I do, right? And in those moments, Omega healing audios have often been a lifesaver. So giving someone a healthy program to listen to, meaning that you are aligned with everything that it takes to be connected to self-healing, is super helpful. And you can listen to these audios anytime. We recommend listening to them in the sequence. So you start with audio 1 and you end at 12. You listen to one audio for 1 month. As I said, you can sleep with them. You can have them running, you know, at a barely audible level, also throughout the day, while you're working, while you're doing something that doesn't require your full attention, not while you're driving a car, because, you know, there's hypnosis in it and it might relax you so much. So, but during the day, it's not a problem to have them running, and that way you are feeding your brain with helpful information. And, you know, if you're a skeptic like me, or a skeptic like I was, I always listen to those audios consciously first to see, am I aligned with the messages? And some of you know the story that I actually was listening to the Omega Healing audios and to Rise Meditations before I met him. And I had tried everything, right? So I had a stack of CDs and audios and they just pissed me off. So the first one that I really enjoyed listening to was Rise Voice. And I can tell you, I have translated those Omega Healing audios. I've worked on them, we've refined them, we've done so much with them, I know them by heart. And there is not one sentence or word in there that I don't agree with, because it's all aligned to our highest good. Because, you know, we as crystalline, as quantum multiversity, really also follow those principles of karma, because we know if we put something out there that's maybe going to help us and hurt someone else, we're going to get it back. So you can relax on that, and I really encourage you to check out the Omega Healing audios to find your own self-healing, because you all have it. And that's it. That was session 2. How are we doing for time? Look at that, it's 19:05. So I'm really proud of our time management, and I want to thank you for being part of this. Please do tell me what you experienced. I'm always intrigued by the visions, the messages, the stuff that's happening in your lives. And next session, so tomorrow, same time, same station, we're going to be tapping into the 3rd chakra. That's your solar plexus, where it's all about power. And we're going to be coming from power that comes from love rather than from force. Power that's connected to the greater good rather than just the ego. And I really look forward to doing the same kind of thing as we did today, but then it's all about the 3rd chakra, releasing trauma, releasing sabotage, and integrating helpful, useful, and healing ideas. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being part of my Joy Tribe. I've got to sign off now. I have a parents' conference online with my daughter's school, so I'm off. I love you. Mille Baci, 1000 Küsse. Ich freue mich auf das nächste Mal. Baba!